Okay, welcome to another edition of the Black and White broadcast. So, we've got something special here today, as we so often do. The Iron Mask, the new schlockfest that has just finally received a UK release on digital. The actual physical DVD copy of the film hasn't dropped yet. We have to wait, I think, June. But if you cannot resist the temptation after seeing that fantastic trailer that dropped a couple of months back, pitting Arnold Schwarzenegger against Jackie Chan for the first time in movie history, I have good news for you, my friends. It is now available to rent in glorious HD on Google Play, and I did just that last night, and I'm so glad I did, because it was everything I hoped it would be and so much more. This movie, The Iron Mask, is absolute insanity. The plot makes no goddamn sense, and I must preface this whole thing by saying, yes, this movie does indeed put Arnie and Jackie Chan on the screen together for the first time, but please do not go into this movie under any kind of illusion that they are starring in this movie, because it's very important to pay attention to the very particular wording that's used in the opening credits, because they are not starring in this film. Oh no, this movie thanks them for their special participation in this film. And interestingly enough, they are also producers on this film. Well, Arnie is an executive producer, apparently, whereas Jackie Chan is just a regular producer. He's just lumped in with the 20 other names. Of course, it's a good question as to how involved in the production they actually were. Personally, and you guys will probably agree, their involvement didn't extend anywhere beyond just being on set for a couple of days, and basically the producer credit, or executive producer credit in Arnie's case, is just more of a stroke the ego type of thing. Like, thank you very much for your time, we really appreciate it. This whole thing wouldn't have been possible without you. So that's it's probably just a gratuitous thing more than anything. So, yes, this plot makes no goddamn sense. There's a whole mishmash of things in here. So we've got evil witch, evil sorceress who's masquerading as the Princess of China, and then we have the real princess who's been basically living as a wanderer. It is revealed that she is actually the daughter of Jackie Chan's character in this film. So we have a whole character arc for her where she has to step up and return to the homeland and reclaim the throne, save the people. There's a dragon in there. Of course, the subtitle of this film is Mystery of the Dragon Seal, so there's a dragon in there, and there's this whole plot about finding the titular dragon seal, Mystery of the Dragon Seal, because of course the theory goes he or she who possesses the seal will be able to control the dragon. Of course, the evil witch wants to find it first because she's hell-bent on world domination, so we have to get the seal before it falls into her hands, or so there's that. There's elements of Man in the Iron Mask, as the title would suggest, just passingly. it just gloss over that. There's elements of Mortal Kombat in there, and also there's elements of Big Trouble in Little China. We have the storms. Honestly, we have the storms in this movie. Yeah, so it's a schlock fest. It's schlock of the highest order. It really, really is. It's wacky as all hell. It's very, very hawky. Arnie and Jackie Chan, as you guys may have anticipated, their roles a little more than glorified cameos. Obviously, people who saw that trailer, this wasn't fooling anybody. Everybody knew. Everybody could tell. These guys are going to be in the film for 10 minutes maximum, and they were absolutely right. But they try and get creative, they try and spread their 10 minutes of screen time around to kind of, you know, pad it out as much as they can. For the most part, Arnie and Jackie Chan, they're only in it for the first 45 minutes, and that's obviously just a couple of minutes here, a couple of minutes there, just spread out at equally timed intervals around the first 45 minutes. And then they show up at the end for a minute in like a wraparound segment. They show up basically to wave goodbye and look out on the sunset inspirationally. That's basically it. But aside from, because their scenes take place almost in isolation, you know, that has very little bearing on the rest of the plot. I mean, it kind of kickstarts the whole thing because one of the main characters, the real Russian Tsar, that's where the Man in the Iron Mask storyline comes into play. Obviously, he's been imprisoned in the Tower of London, and he just happens to be in the same cell as Jackie Chan. So Jackie Chan basically helps him escape and sets the ball rolling, but Jackie Chan is caught and recaptured in the process. So Jackie Chan's out of play. We couldn't be having Jackie Chan in a main role in this film. Oh no, God forbid. So then, obviously, things escalate, and the Russian Tsar ends up going to China, and he meets up with Jackie Chan's daughter. Now, we should say credit where credit's due. Jackie Chan's daughter in this, who is the real princess, which must mean that Jackie Chan's some kind of Chinese royalty as well. She is a legitimately good character. She's a really solid character, competent, and also she is the one character who you can really get invested in because she has a legitimate arc and a legitimate goal that she's working towards. But no, she's probably the best character in it. She's the closest thing we have to a real character in it, and she's very good. She handles herself really well, and that leads me to some of the positives of this. While the whole thing is totally bizarre and makes no goddamn sense, there's some really solid action sequences in this movie. The martial arts choreography is really well done, and there's some really elaborate and really imaginative action set pieces in this that are really fun to watch. And that goes back to one of the things that the first 45 minutes to an hour of this, you are thinking, what the hell am I watching? The highlight of the first hour is obviously all the stuff between Jackie and Arnie, and they do end up having a fight sequence in this, and the fight sequence between them, it's really good, it's really fun, but obviously you can tell that these guys were not taking it seriously at all. The whole thing between them is just them goofing around on set. They're hamming it up like nobody's business, but it's fun to watch because you can see that they're having an absolute ball doing this. But yeah, in the first hour, the highlight of it is the fight between Jackie Chan and Arnie, and then in the second hour we finally get to China, finally, and that's where we the plot finally decides it's gonna get underway, and we get some really good stuff there. Once it finally calms down, well, I say calms down. It's still wacky and hawky, but we finally get the plot going, because the first hour is just random scene after random scene. Charles dances in the movie for 2 minutes but receives top billing. He narrates the opening prologue as well, but yeah, 2 minutes, then he's out of there. Rutger Hauer, in his final film role before he passed away, he's in it for a grand total of a minute, and I am sure, almost certain, that for that entire minute he is legitimately drunk on screen. Yeah, doesn't know where the hell he is. Jason Fleming, from what I understand, because obviously this movie is a sequel, he is reprising his role from the first movie, but again, I don't know why the hell he's here. He's basically the token white guy of the whole thing. Yeah, just totally bizarre. But yeah, the finale of the film, the final climactic battle, is it's really entertaining. It's really fun, and the final fight when the princess comes face to face with the evil witch, it's like something out of Mortal Kombat, and that's not a bad thing. So, when you cut through all the wackiness and all the schlockiness that's going on, there is some legitimately good stuff in there. There's some, we can give it points. We can, but again, it's 100% schlock. I don't know why this movie's 2 hours long. I don't know. It should have been 80 to 90 minutes. Maybe if we could have hacked out some of the just bizarre padding that was put into that first hour, maybe that could have, that could have basically helped with the pacing of the whole thing. But once you get into that second hour, things get better. But again, it's still totally bizarre. You're going to still be wondering to yourself, what the hell am I watching? Also, must be said, this is a Chinese and Russian co-production. Now, if you didn't know that, don't worry, because the opening credits have 10 different, at least 10 different production company logos to tell you or inform you of that fact. It's one of those. Also, interestingly enough, the whole of old-timey London is digitally rendered, and obviously the tower, the infamous Tower of London, obviously that's all shot on a soundstage. It's all sets. But what you will notice is when they finally get to China, there's significantly more real locations, and well, apparently there's a good reason for that, because obviously this was all Chinese and Russian money, so there you go. Yeah, but hey, did it live up to expectations? Yes. I went in there just hoping for something totally out there, totally bizarre. We knew we were only going to get 10 minutes of Jackie and Arnie, and it's a fun 10 minutes, but then I was also pleasantly surprised that we got a really solid lead character with the actress playing Jackie Chan's daughter in this, so that helped me get through the rest of the film after Jackie and Arnie vanished and were forgotten about, until the final couple of minutes of the movie. Yeah, so that's The Iron Mask, Mystery of the Dragon Seal, or V2, Journey to China. Also, this movie was originally conceived and released as a 3D movie, and there are times throughout where it becomes painfully obvious they're just throwing stuff at the camera. So yeah, brace yourself for that. It just adds to the whole, yeah, we get into some Jaws 3D territory in this. But yeah, that was The Iron Mask, Mystery of the Dragon Seal. It's got elements of everything. There's a bit of everything rolled up into here, but the stuff with the storms from Big Trouble in Little China, really, really cool. Yeah. So again, there was some legitimate surprises of, oh, that was actually really good in amongst all of this hawkiness that's going on. So yeah, Schlockfest, a schlock of the highest order. I loved it. It really, really brightened up my evening. And yeah, if you were umming and ahhing, hey, if you want something that you can turn your brain off and just enjoy the total nonsense that's going on screen, and really horrible dubbing, really bad dubbing, yeah, see this, see it. There's a lot worse stuff. Hey, on the Jackie Chan front, this is better than Bleeding Steel. And in terms of releases that have come out this year, I'd pick this over Bloodshot any day of the week. So take that for what it's worth. Yeah, hey, thank you. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Though that pretty much brings this to a close. If you've seen it, feel free to share your thoughts on it. I'd love to hear people's thoughts on this. If you go and watch the trailer for this, the whole comments section is a total joy to read through, and the insanity that the trailer promises, the movie delivers on. It really does. This movie was a joy. This would be a perfect double bill with maybe something like Kung Fu from Beyond the Grave. That would be a hell of a combination. A double bill of Kung Fu from Beyond the Grave and this. Oh, yes, that would be totally sanity destroying. Again, if someone turned around and said both movies take place in the same universe, I wouldn't have any trouble believing that. But yeah, that brings this to a close. So we've got bad acting, bad writing, a storyline that makes no goddamn sense, bad dubbing to accompany the bad acting, but we've got some really cool action sequences, and then when we get to China, we have the benefit of some really beautiful natural locations. So it balances out. It really does. Anyway, that brings us to a close at long last. Thank you for listening to me ramble, and I wish you all the best during these crazy times. It was the perfect time for a crazy movie like this to get released over here, because God knows it came out, more than a year ago in China and Russia. But hey, we finally got it, and thank God we did. But yes, all the best, and I will see you at some point in the future. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.